Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 2. I am Raymond Ita and we're coming to you live from Uyodi, Akwa Ibom State capital. Let's take a look at the day's headlines. President Buhari's aide, Mariam Wise, urges elected office holders to focus on rising number of out-of-school children. NSCDC deploys 30,000 personnel ahead of Easter celebration. Plus, France President Emmanuel Macron counts on Xi to influence Russia on Ukraine war. We will bring you the details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks indeed for staying with us. We begin this afternoon with a census report that the federal government has approved 2 contracts worth 15.3 billion naira for the supply and installation of information and communication technology components, as well as digital assistant devices ahead of the population and housing census slated for May 3rd to 5. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, revealed this to newsmen shortly after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Shehu said among the memoranda that were okayed was the award of about 10.9 billion naira contract for the supply and installation of information and communication technology components for the 2023 population census. According to him, another contract which was approved for the National Population Commission, NPC, was the sum of 4.4 billion naira for the development and implementation of mobile device management solution for the personnel digital assistant devices to be used for the 2023 population census. Meanwhile, the National Population Commission, NPC, will begin building, numbering and household listing by April 17 before the actual census exercise in Kwara State. The State Director of the NPC, Sahid Yusuf, made this known in Ilorin. Yusuf said that the building, numbering and household listing were part of the census and would be for 5 days, beginning from April 25 to 30. After which there would be another training before the May 3rd census. He added that training of data quality managers was held on April 3rd and 4th, while the special workforce training for those that would assist the data managers commenced on April 5 and will end on April 7. From the Red Chambers, the Senate has indicted the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, for poor record keeping for crude oil deliveries to Warri Refinery and Petrochemical Company, as well as the Kaduna Refinery and Petrochemical Company, worth 102.6 billion naira. The indictment stemmed from the 2016 Auditor General report submitted and presented by Senator Matthew Ugoride, which was upheld by the Senate chamber during the plenary session. Reports say other indicted agencies are the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, National Population Commission, the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, FCT Area Council Service, as well as the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Justice, and the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, among others. Now, according to the lawmakers, the deliveries of crude oil from Escravos Terminal for the operation of Warri Refinery and Petrochemical Company and the Kaduna Refinery and Petrochemical Company are channeled directly into the WRPC facility. To the Green Chambers now, the House of Representatives has resolved to transmit a bill seeking to establish a State Security Council to President Buhari for assent. According to the House, the fifth alteration bill of 2023 had met the constitutional requirements for an amendment to the relevant parts of the Constitution. However, the Parliament mandated the clerk to the National Assembly, Sani Tambuwal, to transmit the bill to the President for his assent, in line with the provisions of the Act Authentication. Recall that the National Assembly had in January transmitted 35 constitution alteration bills passed by the State Houses of Assembly in concurrence with the National Assembly out of the 44 bills sent to the states. Away from that, the Presidential Committee on the Review of the Number and Strategy for Resourcing Nigeria's Diplomatic Missions Worldwide has submitted its final report. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, expressed confidence that the committee's observations, findings and recommendations would address some of the challenges confronting the diplomatic missions around the world. Mustafa also gave assurance that the report would be presented to the President for endorsement. The SGF noted that the report would also form part of the transition document that would be handed over to the next administration as part of the successes of the present administration. Moving on, in a separate development, the Special Advisor to the President on Social Investments, Miriam Wise, says elected officials tend to focus more on infrastructure while in office, and this has impacted negatively on education, which has also contributed to the increase in the number of out-of-school children. Speaking to Newsman, Wise noted that the politics of addressing the rate of out-of-school children is not encouraging. She added that despite all government interventions so far, there seems to be very little progress recorded regarding the number of children recorded out of school. Elsewhere, the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has given indications that the Federal Executive Council, FEC, has granted approval for the ministry to go paperless in its operations going forward, noting that a sum of over 916 million naira was approved for the digitalization of the operations of the ministry, especially to document projects it has carried out across the country. According to Fashola, the Ministry of Works and Housing presented 3 memoranda to the Council. He noted that the first was for the digitalization of the processes of workflow and systems of the ministry. Fashola noted that the second project involved the augmentation of the price of an existing contract, which is a contract for the construction of the Kaduna Eastern Bypass, which is a very critical road that connects Kaduna with about 11 other states in the country. According to him, the contract has been long-standing, having been awarded since 2002, but largely unfunded. To electoral matters now, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has said there is pressure on him to leave Nigeria. Obi, in a statement, accused the ruling All Progressives Congress APC and some government agencies of trying to divert the country's attention from the ills recorded during the polls by casting aspersions on his person. The Labour Party flag bearer went on to address the issue of a certain viral audio recording, which allegedly had him speaking to a religious leader, urging the cleric to act and support his ambition as a way to see that Christians win the religious war in the nation's political sphere. Obi called on all Nigerians and the international community to implore the APC and the APC-led government to stop their alleged attacks, adding that its focus and commitment is to lawfully and peacefully retrieve the people's mandate and to secure and unite the nation. Now, ahead of the Easter celebration, the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) says it has set up more than 200 mobile courts to prosecute traffic offenders during the Easter special patrol operations across the nation. This was contained in a statement by the Corps' Public Education Officer, BC Kazim. Kazim said the mobile courts were set up towards ensuring a safe and smooth 2023 Easter celebrations. According to him, the objectives of the special operations is to reduce road traffic crashes, road traffic fatalities, and road traffic injuries. Meanwhile, the Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC), Ahmed Odi, has ordered deployment of 30,000 personnel nationwide to beef up security in the country ahead of the Easter celebration. The CJ gave the order at the national headquarters of the Corps in Abuja while addressing personnel on the need for effective policing of the nation against any activities of dangerous elements planning to cause the breakdown of law and order. In a communique, Odi noted that all special forces in the Corps are to join forces with the regular officers to ensure a hitch-free celebration across the country. According to him, the massive deployment will cover all public utilities, suspected flashpoints, workshop and worship centers, markets, recreational facilities, shopping malls, parks, gardens, and other crowded locations. In Africa, Uganda's Director of Public Prosecutions has approved corruption charges against Karamoja Affairs and its Minister Medigoreti Kituku over a role in an iron sheet scandal in the northeastern region. The Speaker of the Parliament and some cabinet members have also been mentioned in the scandal that involved the alleged theft of 5,500 iron sheets meant for disaster victims in the Karamoja region. Meanwhile, prosecutor Saheed Kitutu, who is currently under police detention, will today be charged in court over corruption. Reports say police have been directed to produce the minister in court for plea taking. She is expected to spend the Easter holiday in Luzira prison, where she will be remanded by the anti-corruption court after being charged. We head to Sudan, where leaders have again postponed the signing of a final agreement to re-establish a civilian government as differences within military factions intensify. Further reports say talks continued overnight with negotiations centered on a draft deal that was to be signed today. Sudan has allegedly been in political crisis since October 2021, when the army overthrew a civilian government that ousted long-serving leader Omar al-Bashir in 2019. Last December, the military agreed on a roadmap to hand over power to civilians, but the negotiations have stalled due to disagreements over the unification of the National Army and the dreaded paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, led by the deputy head of Sudan's ruling council, Mohamed Hamdan Daglo. Meanwhile, the spokesman for the talks, however, said they were still determined to reach a consensus with the military. On the foreign scene, France President Emmanuel Macron says influence on Russia in the Ukraine war has urged Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping to use its influence to help stop Russia's war in Ukraine. The French leader is on a state visit to China, which has refused to condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Reports say Macron is seeking to bolster trade ties. He's joined by European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen, who he invited to take part in talks with Chinese leadership. But the visit has been highly scrutinized after years of deteriorating relations between the West and China. The two are expected to hold a three-way discussion with von Leyen, who is in Beijing, on Macron's invitation. But still on the foreign scene, China has launched military drills in response to a much-anticipated meeting between Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen and the U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. They met in California a week after President Tsai was feted in New York with a leadership award. Reports say Tsai hailed their strong and unique partnership, with McCarthy saying that the arms sales to Taiwan must continue. Beijing in turn has vowed a resolute response and sent warships into the waters around the self-governed island. Over the years, China has successfully pushed many of Taiwan's former allies, whittling down the number of governments that recognize Taipei to just 13. You're watching Spectrum TV News at 2. Still to come in the news. Manchester United beats Brentford 1-0 in English Premier League fixture. Do stay with us. Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. On our business news, the federal government has announced $800 million grants from the World Bank targeting 50 million vulnerable Nigerians or 10 million households as part of its subsidy palliative measures ahead of the planned subsidy removal in June 2023. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed gave the announcement after the Federal Executive Council meeting chaired by President Buhari. Ahmed noted that engagements are ongoing with the newly established Presidential Transition Council and incoming administration to drive the palliative program, which includes the need for buses, among various considerations. Still in business, the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, Sambi Wabute, has performed the groundbreaking ceremony of a 7 billion naira pipe manufacturing plant at Polaku in Bayelsa State. While speaking at the event, the Executive Secretary commended the management of Energies Limited and its subsidiary on the successful takeoff of the construction work on the pipe manufacturing plant, noting that the project was in line with the mission statement of the NCDMB, which is to promote the development and utilization of in-country capacities for the industrialization of Nigeria through effective implementation of the Nigerian Content Act. The pipe manufacturing plant is a testament to the giant strides in local content drive in the country. He joined the company's management to explore available financing options to ensure that the project would be delivered on schedule. In health now, a public health physician, Dr. Ramat Odeshan, has warned that indoor use of stoves and firewood can expose children, especially those under the age of 5, to the risks of lung infection and respiratory diseases. The physician, who disclosed this during an interview, said that indoor air pollution can lead to pneumonia in children, charging parents to ensure that the use of anything that emits smoke should be done in an open and well-ventilated space. Odeshan noted that pneumonia is one of the major killers of children, but could be prevented through good nutrition and hygiene practices. Staying with health, study has found that walking could help people keep a healthy weight and build stronger muscles and bones, and also reduce the chances of developing diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure. But a study revealed that those who walk 8,000 steps twice weekly stand a chance of living longer. The research also indicated that walking can be linked to a better mood. According to the study by Dr. Kosuke Inoue of the Kyoto University in Japan, in collaboration with researchers from the University of California, Los Angeles in the United States, It further revealed that those who walked 8,000 steps or more a day had benefits to their cardiovascular systems. And now in sports, Erik ten Hag says Manchester United are too reliant on goals from Marcus Rashford after the England striker hits the winner against Brentford at Old Trafford yesterday. The Red Devils climbed back into the top four thanks to Rashford's 15th Premier League goal and 28 in all competitions for his club this season. Reports say his latest goals took United back above Tottenham Hotspur in the race to qualify for the Champions League and was the response Ten Hag demanded following Sunday's defeat at Newcastle. United are level on 53 points with third-place Newcastle and 3 ahead of fifth-place Tottenham, who have played one more game than their rivals. But still in sport, Karim Benzema scored a second half Barcelona to reach the Copa del Rey final. Trailing 1-0 from the first leg, Madrid leveled the tie through Vinicius Jr. in first half stoppage time. Meanwhile, Benzema added 2 goals early in the second half, the second from the penalty spot, to put the visitors in control, and completed his hat-trick to seal the win in the 80th minute. The France striker got his third with 10 minutes remaining after a devastating Madrid counter, again led by Vinicius. The win was Benzema's second hat-trick in successive games after achieving defeat last Sunday against Real Valladolid. Let's talk entertainment now, where multi-award-winning Beninese music legend Angelique Kidjo has become the third African to win the prestigious Polo Music Prize. The Polo Music Prize, which is also tagged the Nobel Prize of Music, is a Swedish international award founded in 1989 by Stig Andersson. According to reports, Benin Republic's music legend Angelina Kidjo is the latest recipient of the Music Prize. Kidjo joins South Africa's Maria Makeba and Senegalese Yususu as the only Africans to have won the prize in 2002 and 2013, respectively. Still in entertainment, Forbes Africa has published its annual 30 Under 30 list, which honors outstanding young business people, innovators, and leaders. This year's list features Thames Arya Star, Asisa Tashwala, Blessing Joel Abeng, and Chloe Coco Abiri. According to the managing editor of the Forbes Africa, Renuka Matthew, the finalists were chosen from a group of more than 1,000 candidates, which comprise pre-all Forbes Africa 30 Under 30 alumni, an editorial team led by Under 30 curator Chana Retief, as well as a group of impartial external assessors and subject matter experts. And that's all we have for you today. Many thanks indeed for joining us. Don't forget, you can follow us on all of our socials by visiting us on our social media platforms. And do also subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website. Just search spectrumtv.ng. You've been watching the news at 2. Many thanks for joining us. I am Raymond Eta. Good afternoon.